Good morning. My name is John Vincent Saracanlao. You can call me Sir John or Dr. Saracanlao. Our lesson for today is on assessing the affective domain. Affective domain presents the greatest challenge because it is the most difficult and complex of all evaluation or assessment tasks. There's an overlap with other domains. However, data can be very rich because the assessed behaviors are in regards to attitudes, beliefs, and feelings. So if you notice on most surveys or researches, there's questions about uh, this affected domains. Sometimes you saw strongly agree, disagree, agree, and strongly agree. So always remember that the most positive response should have the highest score or value. So this is one, two, three, four, and goes on. And be careful of changing your questions. Like I love the subject English subject. So it's one, two, three, four. We just say I dislike or hate the English subject. It inverses the responses and the scores. If you know what I mean. Okay. So we have fixed response formats. Interval by nature, since there is no precise value between each point to the other. We have a Likert type scale, provides a range with a variety of anchors, numerical score, many topics. Try to avoid middle scores and undecided or sometimes simply because per our respondent needs to decide whether it's disagree or agree or undecided. Sometimes and undecided are areas from which respondents would just choose sometimes or undecided simply because it's in the middle. They don't want to agree, they don't want to disagree, they just want to be safe. So try to avoid those options. So we have yes, this is Pratwell, I think. Receiving, becoming aware, paying attention to, tolerating, acknowledging differences, accept being aware, perceive, show awareness. So we have like some parts, dislike some part, or dislike, and those are the options. But you can always use the same generic options, and there's all other options such as always, most of the time, rarely, occasionally, and never. You notice all those positive are with the highest value or scores. So responding, doing something, taking action, agreeing to, trying to volunteer for, obeying the guidelines, accepting responsibility, caring for, complying, cooperating, showing interest. You also have valuing, developing attitudes. So you can ask questions about initiating a plan, showing concern, assuming responsibility, adopting, seeking, expressing, choosing, using resources. In terms of coding for statistical coding, 4-point scale is recommended. So we have 4 for always agree, 3 for most of the time, agree, 2 for rarely or disagree, 1 for never or strongly disagree. We also have unfixed response format, so qualitative in nature but can be summarized quantitatively. So organization, arranging personal values, adjusting to lifestyle, disclosing information about adapting to, adjusting to, arranging, and ranking. So this can be open-ended questions, but if you really just ask in a certain way that it can be questions that are categorical, then you can have options. And yeah, so in terms of can be summarized quantitatively, you can have those open-ended questions interview, then you can just summarize them. So like 5 of them, 5 out of 10 have this response. 2 of the 10 have this response, and 1 of the 10 have this response. So you can summarize the response quantitatively, even though the nature of the format or the nature of the question is qualitative. It means it's not it's an open question. So uh, hope you know what I mean. So same thing, characterization by value or core value complex, generalizing a value, showing devotion, influencing others, exemplifying, acting, maintaining, or advocating, exhibiting, exposing, serving, supporting. So take a stand, suggest appropriate action. So I use this, I use Scratchful, I think it's Scratchful, because uh, when you set like a question, for example, the subject, let's say reading. So when you say receiving, we have five domains here: receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and characterization of value by value or value concept. So the first question would be receiving. So it's awareness or showing awareness or paying attention to. So the person, the first question would simply become questions about your attention to, like uh, reading is important. Reading is important. So the next question would be another question. You'll have five questions about their attitude towards reading. Uh, Agreeing to or volunteering for. So responding. So I like to read when I have the time. So the question develops from just receiving to responding. Don't give questions that are all receiving in nature. So just I like reading and try to develop the questions in a perspective of domains that develops also from receiving, then responding, then valuing, initiating a plan, showing concern, assuming responsibility, seeking, expressing, choosing, and using resources. So choosing, I would choose reading, then watching online videos or playing games. So as the question goes deeper, as the question number of questions increase, it also becomes deeper. And you also have this one, organization, adjusting to lifestyle, disclosing information, adapting to adjusting to ranking. So you rank like reading as something you have the most, or what do you do during your free time? There will be a list, and one of them will be reading and other things. Remember that this is affective domains. It's a matter of understanding the context and being able to assess how our respondent response values, organization, and characterization by value of that context. This is, for me, this is important because some questions that I've met in, during panel and sometimes in consultancy, it's always about just questions that are receiving, responding, but not much more on the deep ones. And remember that every time a person responds, the value increase, the value decrease. So receiving, they can be have four, but in responding, it's just three or two, and in valuing, it's just one. So having these questions that has simplicity and depth will create a better mean, will average of response that is centered to what the person really feels or or believes and his attitudes. So let's go now to codes. So we can, this is formative for assign codes using left right. So you will have for female, you have one or two. Uh, for this one, science tutorial attended. So basically, so there's no tutorial, so zero, others, one, two, three, four, five. Why is the increase from, you have to justify the increase of teacher because, teacher is most competent in a sense or more knowledgeable about the topic or the tutorial. So we also have income. So we have school. So that means you're given a specialized person to. So you have that code. And remember, let's say let's look at this to performance as the tutorial attended increase. There's also an assumption that the score of the respondent or the student also increase. So if we inverse that one, we just assign codes randomly. It will destroy the data then. In the income, so you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So basically the same concept as the income increase. There's an assumption that the performance increase, the attitude increase, and everything. And educational attainment. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So academic performance. So we'll have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We didn't put the top as 1 because simply because we will assume that, for example, this one is paired with academic performance by correlation, or if the number, the value of the tutorial attended increase, there's also an assumption that the performance, academic performance, also increases. And as the value of the education of the parent increase, there's also a value of academic performance increase that pair. So do not randomly assign values. Next is multiple response options. So we have extensive use of technology, replace educational apps, play online games, do project assignments, surf based on interest, watch YouTube with videos, watch videos, read books, and others. Use of internet. So what you think here has the highest value? So play education based on interest. Yeah, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this will be 8 and 7. Uh, yeah, 6. Uh, that's 5. Then watch video 4. Oh no. Let's go to there's reading ebooks here. So based on interest, we have this. So we have 6. We have 6. We have 5. So you arrange the code accordingly based on the positiveness of the response. So let's say 5. Watching videos, movies. Okay, so 5, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5. Hmm, 4, 3, 2. And remember, there's also others, so you cannot quantify that as one unless no, you can summarize it later, like others, like 5 of them responses say of 10 respondents, one student here used to internet, so say Facebook, so to do Facebook. So that's one respondent, and you can summarize them, like how many of the students or the respondents said Facebook for others. So it's qualitative in nature, it's open-ended, but you can always summarize them quantitatively. And it would be better if you arrange them. I did not arrange this properly, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. it would be better that if you arrange them before you hand your instruments out, it is arranged sequentially. Use of internet and smartphone. So it could be the same, it could be different. And use of Apple and tablet and yeah. So you also have continuous response. So I ask questions inside and outside class for clarification at all times, often, often, sometimes, and never. Often, often, sometimes, and never. I have no time for research other than the time what is happening. Notice that there is no here, so it's 4, 3, 2, 1. I have no time for research other than the time what I take inside the classroom. So uh, it's inverse because of the word no. To inverse it, to make it uniform, you just change the word I have time for research other than time than and you see how it changes. If you're not familiar or you are not aware of how data change, this question will have a impact on the average of the scores. Because instead of giving it a value of 1, you gave it a value of 4. So yeah, that's it. And we also have does not initiate social contract interaction using verbal cues, smiling, tapping, and so on. So there are a lot of questions that you can make. Quantifiability is very important. Development of questions is very important. Don't be too one-sided, like receiving only, responding, and try to move from one domain to the other, from receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, or values, because it will, as I've said, it will generate a thematic response or a holistic response when you average the attitude, beliefs, or behavior of the respondent. And then we have, yes, uh, essays. You have rubrics. I'm sure you know how to make rubrics. And also you have mathematical solution. You can set the rubrics here, and those are the values. And 4, as said, should have the most positive response or performance. So yeah, I guess that's the lesson for today. Next one will be on recording data in Excel as well as selecting options in SPSS. So I hope you learned something. If you need help constructing your instruments, creating questions, or yeah, just questions and or am I assigning the right codes? Am I assigning the right values? Am I writing the right scores? You can always reach me. Just comment on the blank space there on comment section, and hopefully you'll buy my book that will be released on the second week, mid-February to end of February. Yes, that's all. Thank you and have a good day.